I've got a question, Ross, Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Kennedy back there. I noticed this resolution that we got, that if people vote on this, sales tax, wheel tax are forever. Am I reading that correctly? That's on there forever. Now, how? And I'm not gonna have to worry about that. 30 years from now, how can that be taken out? And I guess I've got a little problem with doing something forever. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's what I read that.
I apologize for being late. There is the resolution that you have before you is a resolution that the board is presenting to us. That's not necessarily the resolution that you would be adopting, because there's some things there, for instance, that have to be worked on in terms of just the actual administration side of the wheel tax, for instance. Mr. Mitchell and I discussed that, and rather than us try to do anything with that, we thought it better that this joint bodies make some decision, give us some guidance about that. But whatever is my thinking would be that I would have to draft a resolution to present to this body in terms of, so it takes care of some of the mechanics. I mean, for example, when's the wheel tax gonna become effective? When is it gonna be that, how long can a person that's moved into the county have before they have to get or pay for the wheel tax? There's some issues that's got to be addressed. And as far as it being in perpetuity, that was what was in the original resolution that was presented to the county commission to consider, and that language is still there. We took out some of the things that dealt with the private act, took out some other things that just could not work, but we left in that because that's what the school board had presented to the county commission as part of their resolution. But as it's written now, you are correct that it is forever, and there's nothing that would take that off at this point. We've got the same issue as you know, we discussed this at our last meeting. We've got the same issue with our current wheel tax. There's nothing in that act that says when it stops. And so we're going to deal with that, but we also have the same issue as the resolution that has been presented does have the language on both of those that it's in perpetuity. Mr. Mitchell and I did not discuss that. That wasn't our issue, I didn't think, to deal with at this point.
Maybe that's not the issue now, but I covered the problem with that.
Well, I think that's an issue for the bodies to consider, certainly. It's just not an issue that, based on what I understood that we were supposed to, Mr. Mitchell and I were supposed to be doing, I didn't think it was one of those things, because that starts getting into what they had proposed as far as the resolution. And I told them until these bodies acted, I didn't think we should do it.
Well, as you know, from what we get from the county every year, the local match is about $5 million, and that goes for running the schools and doing the every year. We get nothing from the county to maintain, construct, or do future projects. And the reason we use that term was we've got many things right now that we can't afford to fix simply because we don't have the money. And we can't come to the board and say, hey, we need $900,000 for a roof, give us $900,000. So we left that in perpetuity so that there would be monies available when this debt paid off to because I mean, you've got other schools that are going to be in 30 years going to be needing to be either rebuilt. That's why that language is left in there for maintenance of the schools, maintenance of the sites. I mean, we, you know, both of our athletic programs desperately need money, and that they can't raise it from the parents that are doing the thing. They basically don't get it. And that's what that was in there.
With the school board, I mean, we're here tonight to consider putting referendum on the ballot for Tucson School. The perpetuity I don't like. We're not here to discuss maintenance 30 years down the road. As I understand, as I see it myself, we're here to discuss two new schools. To let the people decide on two new schools. I don't think that the citizens of McNairy County needs to be voting on maintenance 35 years down the road, and all this stays on there forever. That is not, I mean, I don't agree.
We asked for a pony, if you give us a bicycle, we'll be happy.
Well, no, it's not me. It's the voters. Are they gonna understand perpetuity? Do they understand that's forever? When they go to polls and that's on there.
Not being a smart aleck at all, but taxes have always been forever. In every tax that's ever been added, it's always been there. I've never seen them take a tax off.
I take issue with that, that's not something.
What?
We lowered tax rate from $2.40 to $2.09 in 2010.
In general. But I don't have the school board doesn't have a problem if you wanna remove that to when the debt's paid.
What I wanna see, I wanna know exactly how much it's gonna cost. I wanna know when the start date is. I wanna know exactly how you plan on paying for it and exactly when the end date of it is. That's what I wanna see on any resolution to go on the referendum. Those four things, I mean, that's what I need to see before I can legitimately vote for it, the people I represent.
I need these two attorneys to tell me if it's possible to get you those answers.
There's another question on that, Mr. Lacy, I've got, is when people get to vote, they need to be able to see exactly everything their money's gonna be spent for and what it's gonna cost, instead of just making a general statement, we're gonna build this. You know, there's some people who vote for it, there's some who won't know exactly what they're spending their money for. And then they won't know, then that way they know if they vote for it, then they won't make sure they're getting what they're voting for. If we drove down, they'll be able to know it.
We understand that for the next 82 days, we have to educate the public on what we're doing, the exact amounts, everything, as well as the county commission. And we're prepared to go to those communities and make those presentations. That's our game plan.
The resolution's gonna have language very similar to what you're looking at. You can have a provision that limits it in terms of time. I mean, you can put a limit on there as far as whatever time until that's paid off or whatever other period of time you wanna put on there. I mean, sensibly, it's gotta be, you gotta have to take care of the debt somehow. But you can limit it in that respect, but in terms of being able to say it's gonna be a particular dollar, start at a particular time, you know, the issue on the referendum is gonna be, do you raise the sales tax and do you raise or do you enact the wheel tax is what's gonna amount to. And then that'll generate the funds, but of course, based on the projections, you're estimating when that time will be. So there's no way it's gonna be specific as far as the amounts that you asked about.
But there can be estimates, not necessarily specifics, but estimates, say in 2040, you know, this should be paid off with regards of, you know, how much money we take in and stuff like that. Should.
I think you could put that in a resolution as to the time how the length of time, I think.
30-year bond. 30 years from now, 30 years from when we borrow, I guess, is when the debt would be paid, yes, sir.